So now, the recording is going, and we will go ahead and get started again. We've got 46 people online. I'm very excited about that. I think what's going to be happening as we go through more and more of these classes is that you'll begin to see how interactive this is. And so even though I'm here by myself, which I wish, Ann Hampton, I wish you were here with me to help me. I see a lot of familiar faces. I want to talk about time management problems. There's going to be no sales pitch, nothing to buy. It's just going to be an absolute webinar. And then I'm going to open it up to questions. Because I think for us to do a better job here at the 7-Minute Life, and we're growing like crazy, we appreciate everyone sharing our topics. I'm going to open it up as soon as we finish this first exercise and let you talk to me. Now, if you want to talk, you'll have to find a button called Panelist. So I'm going to stop sharing for a moment. And if you go to the, let's see, what's the question and answer? If you go to the I'm Still Learning, we now have 52 people on there. If you go, can anyone find where to raise their hand? Hang on. Okay, Ann Hampton, apparently I don't have that. Okay, if you raise your hand when we get to the part that's question and answer, I will call on you, and you literally will become the panelist or the presenter. I will be on the screen, and you will be on the screen, so we'll have live answering questions. So be ready for that. If you raise your hand under the question and answer, I will be able to promote you to a panelist. So this is going to be live. So if you want to be on video, make sure your hair looks good and all of that. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm delighted that everyone is here. I want to show you how to get to these places on your webinar, on your website. Let me turn this. This is our home page. And so when you come to the home page, what I want you to do is scroll up and go to Tools. And you can do this with me if you like. When you go to the Tools page, you'll see that there are about 20 tools that are out there for people to use. There's no anything that you have to do. When I come up here and I look at prioritize, organize, and simplify, I think that's kind of the biggest problem that people have. We live in a swirl of chaos. We want to be organized. We want to have our time back to ourselves. And this is why people come to the 7-Minute Life, is that they are overwhelmed with stuff. Today, looking at time management problems, we're going to help you organize your time and improve it with one tool. One tool. So if you haven't had the opportunity to download that, you can do it now. These are all the tools that we have. They're all free. You can go to them. We have some training on the tools page. This is a brand new page that has not even had information released on it. It's called the 15-Minute Increment Tracking Worksheet. So what I'd like you to do is go ahead and download that. And it'll pop up just like that. All right, I'm going to bring the chat back up, and it'll block it a bit. When you are that far away, you can't hear me. All right. Thank you. All right, can everyone see? I'm on. Can everyone see what's on the board? At least one person. Can you see what's on the board? Okay, now we're getting things going. And we're going to have some questions, and I'm so excited about that. Okay, I'm going to yell when we get back here. This single sheet of paper is going to change your life. This 15-minute increment worksheet is something that I created by accident. I struggled for years putting too much in my day and not having enough time to accomplish those things. So when we start off today, I'm going to ask you to take a simple moment in time and decide to write down your to-do list. And as you write down your to-do list, I just want you to do it on a blank sheet of paper. So I've turned off this. You should still be able to see the board. I want you to take out a piece of paper and write down your to-do list. I want you to see how many people you can get on this to-do list as quickly as you can. Now, as we go through this, I want to make sure that we have somebody that can help. So I'm looking for someone that would be glad to help me here in the chat. If those of you that are on this can start putting down to-do lists, and everyone else watch the chat, which is at the bottom bar, put in what you need to do. Put in what you need to do. When? Tomorrow. Create a to-do list for tomorrow, and let me see some of the things that you come up with. What needs to be done tomorrow? File taxes. Send invoices. Come on. I know you're hiding out there. Do paperwork. Today's been kind of a crazy day. Pay some bills. Keep going. Ooh, complete a grant school. Reconcile the bank statement. I can't click on anything at the bottom. All right, well, I'm going to now stop sharing my screen so it might get a little bit easier to follow along. So now, can everyone see me? If you put in chat, can everyone just see me? Yes, okay. All right, so this is the first time I've tried to do a live webinar. A live webinar with no one here where you can interact with me. Okay, so I saw some of these to-do lists, and I'm going to write them down. If you can write down yours, I'm going to write down these that were shown. File taxes. Do paperwork. Homework. And I'm going to add a few more. Homework. And one more, groceries. So would you agree this is the type of information, office supplies, printer, and ink, is this the type of thing that you have on your to-do list? Can I say yes or no? Yes. Yes. It's the kind of thing that you have. Now, I'm going to switch back on to sharing screen. I'm loving trying out new technology. I'm going to go back, share my screen. I appreciate your patience, and now you should be able to see this. I'm going to erase these things that say file taxes, paperwork, homework, and groceries. And what I'm going to ask you to do, and if you've downloaded this page, I'd like you to start writing down what time of day you plan to focus your attention on completing these tasks. Before we get there, I'd like you to do some things that are very minimalistic on this calendar. I'd like you to first write down when you wake up. So let's say that you wake up at 6 a.m. You're going to draw a line on 6 a.m. and you're going to write down wake up. And then, because I want you to see how you actually spend your time, I want you to write down at whatever time it is for you. For me, it might be 7:30. By 7:30, I'm dressed and ready to get out the door. So by 7:30, I'm dressed and ready to work. I want you to see how very little time you have. There's not much time in the day. By the time you leave and get to work, it may very well be 8:15. So now I've gotten up at 6, I've just gotten myself ready, and I get to work at 8:15. When I get to work at 8:15, it probably takes me 30 minutes to settle in. 30 minutes to settle in. Now, I'm going to use the person that just had some projects that they wanted to accomplish. I'm going to scroll this up to 8:15 or a little higher. And I'm going to erase these. So now, I know y'all love, I should have had some more. I'm having fun. Okay, so now you're at the office, and the first thing that you have to do is take, let's say, 2 hours to file your taxes. So I'm going to use these people. File taxes. And then you're going to go to lunch. And then let's say you're going to make some phone calls so that you can call people and make sure everything happens. And then at 3 o'clock, let's say that you have a staff meeting. And then at 4 o'clock, you've got a soccer game to go to. Now, I'm going to go back, and I'm going to open up the chat, because I want to see what you're thinking about this. I'm now back in the chat. Can some of you begin to tell me if this is reality or not? Is this a reality to you? Yes. Can some of you tell me why? When you're looking at this, you never have enough time for the day. I'm going to solve this problem. So I'm glad that y'all are hanging up with me. No, I can't get track of my interruptions. Anything else? Is this a problem when you come into the office and you have these labels on your smartphone? You ever really get this done? You ever get this done? I'm getting sidetracked a lot during the day. Let me come back. And I guess this is what it would be like if you were in a college course. Behind too much. All right. Go back and share the screen again. Let me show you what happens in reality. And we're going to finish up in not too long from now, because I want you to actually ask questions and answer. These are the things that you come into the office and you said you're going to do. I'm going to get up and I'm going to get to the office at 9 o'clock. And you know what happens, or 8 o'clock, when you come in, instead of having some kind of plan of action, your job just kind of hits you. It's like a fire drill, and all of a sudden, the phones start going off, and the emails start coming in, and whatever you had on your mind, like file taxes, all of a sudden gets pushed out of your attention span. All of a sudden now you're in your office, but instead of working on the taxes that you have allocated 2 hours for, what really happens is that you have some kind of urgent email from your boss, and everything that you had planned to do this morning now gets kicked out of your schedule. And everything that happens in this framework of 24 hours means that either anything that comes in, like this, immediately kicks something else out. If you're overwhelmed at work and you have time problems and you want to exercise because you say, that's a good thing, I want to exercise, what are you going to kick out of your life? Are you going to kick out the sales calls that you have to make? No. Are you going to kick out lunch? I hope not, because attention depends on good nutrition. What happens to most people is when they come all the way down to this worksheet, what they kick out is sleep. Surprisingly, distractions, interruptions, irritations, unexpected things, they're part of the world, but losing sleep will cause the biggest time management problem you can ever imagine. But wait, there's more. When people come to me for coaching and they want to work through their list, what we do is we create what they think is a reality over here. I'm going to get up at 6. I'm going to get dressed. I'm going to drive to the office. I'm going to get there at 8:30 or 9. I'm going to file my taxes. So I'm going to do those things. I'm just now realizing that you probably need to see this. No? All right, well, let me just turn this off now. So I'm going to come back here without that. But you get it. There's 9 o'clock here. There's 10 to 12 here. There's 12 to 1 here. From 1 to 3 here. From 3 to 4. And then from 4 o'clock. So I'm just now realizing that you can even see that. You get up at 6. You get to the office at 9. You have to do your taxes between 10 and 12. You go to lunch. You have to make prospecting calls from 1 to 3. And from 3 to 4, you have a staff meeting. And at 4 o'clock, you're supposed to leave for a soccer game. Let me show you the reality. When you take that 15-minute increment tracking sheet and you put it on your desk, and today I hope you'll plan for tomorrow. At the top of a page, I want you to ask, what is my goal for tomorrow? On the top of a piece of paper, on the top of a 15-minute increment tracking sheet, what is my goal for tomorrow? And tonight, take 7 minutes and complete the right side of this. This is what we see on our smartphone when we walk in. On our smartphone, we see, I'm going to get to the office, and the first thing I'm going to do is in my smartphone, on my calendar, I'm going to file my taxes between 10 and 12. I also have a lunch event. I'm going to go to that lunch event at noon. Then I need to make sales calls. And then I have a staff meeting and a soccer game. There's a huge difference in a label that is on your smartphone and actions that have to take place during your workday. These are the time management problems that what's on your smartphone in no way correlates with what's real in your life. This is a full day of work, just right here, doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is where the other side of that platform comes in. You walk in the office and you think you have to do these things. But here's the reality. It's not about labels. This is what really happens on the other side. I'd like you to write these things on the other side of that 15-minute increment tracking sheet or on even a piece of paper. What really happens in real life is that you wake up at 6 and your child tells you all of a sudden at 6 a.m. that they need a poster board for their science fair that they're supposed to do. So you're supposed to drop your child off at 7:30 a.m. at school, but instead of leaving at 7 a.m., all of a sudden you have a fire drill and you have to leave your house at 6:45 to go pick up the poster board. And I know that's a reality. And so now all of a sudden when you pick up the poster board, not at your child, you're irritated. But you walk in with irritation and stress before you even get to the office. These are the real time management problems that people face day after day after day. So by the time you get into the office, it's now 9 o'clock, let's say, or 8 o'clock. You're supposed to file your taxes, but guess what? You don't want to file your taxes. You want to go to the person next door and say, I can't believe it. My child came in today and said, I need poster paper. And it all of a sudden is now noon, and you've done nothing. Not because you didn't want to do it, but because your whole world came apart when one thing came into your life. I want to show you one other problem with the schedule. Is that you walk into your office planning to do this, and your day is full. When you look at your calendar, it is full. But what does this calendar, this time management sheet lack? What this lacks is time to go to the bathroom. And I'm not kidding. Sometimes I am so busy needing to make calls or meet deadlines that I can't even run to the restroom. Another thing is that this lunch meeting is 20 minutes away. So even though you scheduled it for 1 hour, you've forgotten the 20-minute drive time, the 1 hour lunch, and the 20-minute drive time back. It didn't take 1 hour. It took an hour, basically 45 minutes. We underestimate what is in our lives. But go farther than that. Is there anything in here except that 15 minutes to read your email? When are you going to read your email? When are you going to go write your thank you notes? When are you going to go call your family? When are you going to have pizza? When are you going to fix the button on your shirt? There's no time. There's absolutely no time to do everything that you said you were going to do, plus have all these other things that you have, whether you're a mother or a father or a son or a daughter or a homeschooler. This is reality. You've got 15-minute increment tracking sheets, 24 hours in a day. That's all, 24 hours. We plan out our activities using our smartphones. Smartphones are not projects. Smartphones are nothing but labels. When you put a label on your calendar that you're going to file your taxes between 10 and 12, there's no commitment there. All that's there is a label. When we say we're going to do homework, it's a label. It's not a commitment. It's not a plan of action. I want people to understand that time management is a problem because we don't have enough time to do what we plan for that single day. And when you walk into your home at night and you realize that you have 5 or 10 things that were not tended to, here's what happens. It's just one word. And I know it's hard to read, but it's not hard to feel. When you have too much to do, you have stress in your life. And I don't want to underestimate what stress in the work life can do. First, it makes you completely unproductive. It makes you sick. It can lead to anxiety and depression. These are real things. I'm in this because time management is more, so much more than just getting more done. In fact, I don't want you to come to the 7-minute life and be more productive so that you can go home and do things that are not meaningful to you. So you can save 2 hours to do more things that won't make your life richer or better. I'm going to share one example of how you can fix this to an extent and begin to work into that. And then I'm going to open it up to questions. So be ready to raise your hand and ask us questions one at a time, and I'll be answering them as best I can. I want to show one more thing. I feel like a college professor up against my whiteboard. article for an online magazine, and I have one due tonight. And it takes me between, 5 hours to 10 hours to write it. And I cannot just walk into my office and say, okay, I'm going to take these 5 hours on this day, and I'm going to work from 1 p.m. until 6 p.m., and I'm going to write the article. That's what it takes me, 5 to 10 hours. But I can't put a label in my smartphone and expect to get that article written. Anything that takes more than 20 minutes is not an activity or a task that you can accomplish. Anything that takes more than 20 minutes is actually a project. And here's where the 7-minute difference is different. Anything that takes over 20 minutes is not a task because your brain can only pay attention between 2 seconds and 20 minutes. So if I tried to come in and focus my attention from 1 p.m. until 6 p.m. without a restroom break, without an email, without picking up the phone when it rings, this is just not a reality. So how do you do something if it takes more than 20 minutes? I'm going to show you using my example, but you could use the same example for taxes, for files, any kind of work that you have to do at home. The article today I was talking about was cleaning up the garage. Well, I bet there's some people out there that would like to have time to clean up the garage. So, when you have mental clutter and I'm writing an article, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a decision. I'm going to make a decision of what is the goal that I want to accomplish when I write this article. And the article I was writing was on distraction. I cannot sit down for 5 hours and write about distraction. So what can I do? I know this is not going to now be done in one day. One day, it will never happen. It's actually due today on the 28th. What I do is, I love this whiteboard, is I take it and I break it down into different pieces. So this is called a spoken wheel. I put the goal in the wheel and I add step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and even those are too big. So I then break down step 3 into possibly 2 things that I can do within 20 minutes. How different would your world look like if you only came in with your office with 5 things, realistically 5 things that you could accomplish within 20 minutes? Start them and finish them. When you take those 5 tiny things and start them and finish them and make that check mark, that's when time management starts to happen. Now, why is this 5 before 11? Creating a written plan of action, not a label of what's in your smartphone. When you say you have to file your taxes, what are the steps that you have to take? First, you have to pull out all the information. Then you have to make a few phone calls to get the information. Then you have to organize the information. Each one of those might be a task you could start and finish. But you have to have an action plan. You have to come in with a written daily plan of action. And I think that's where you know why we do what we do here. And I'm going to get out of the way and show you the last thing and open up the questions. Again, if you go back to the 7-minute life, look at this, and you're back in the 7-minute life, I want you to realize that all of this is free. Today we're not selling anything. We just want to help people. Again, you go to the tools page. and you scroll down to the very first tool that started it all, the daily progress report, and you click download. And this is what's going to pop up. You're going to have the opportunity to take this and write down the 5 things that you want to do tomorrow. If you took 7 minutes and just knew the 5 things that you needed to do and you did them, 5 important things you could do within 20 minutes, if you just took 5 tiny steps a day, within a week you would have accomplished 35 activities. Within 90 days, which is what our platform is on, you would have marked off 450 tasks that you would need to do. It's time to stop labeling and time to start using a plan of action. So, with that in mind, I'm going to actually sit down because now I want to have a conversation with you. I appreciate y'all hanging in here. At some point, I'm going to have somebody that'll come do this with me. It's kind of fun, though, to have, let me get some flat place, to have these things live. All right, we've got some questions. We've got 3 questions. All right, this is Catherine. So, Catherine, are you ready to answer live? All right, I'm going to take you in, Catherine. And I'm going to make you, this is exciting, I'm going to promote you to a panelist. So now when people look at you, they will actually see you. And make sure that your mic is unmuted down at the bottom. Catherine, can you see us? You have now been promoted to a panelist. Are you still there? All right, well, we'll move to the next question. The next question is an anonymous viewer. How can we begin to catch up on the backlog as we start this new way of planning? The backlog of tasks and paperwork is overwhelming. That is a very important question. When you start backing up, the first thing that you have to do is know exactly what you have to do. And so again, on that tools page at no charge, you can go to this amazing page that is called, if I can get there, it's called your unfinished work tasks. And when you get there, it looks something like this. These are my unfinished work tasks. And so it's an entire page, in fact, it's 6 pages of things that are unfinished in your life. Every file folder on your desk, every unreturned phone call, every post-it note that's been there, these are all unfinished tasks. And there's no way you can come in and accomplish all of them, so you have to capture them. The first step of the backlog is capturing the tools, capturing what you need to do, and then again, on this page, today, again, all of this is free. When you come in and you have unfinished tasks, you take the backlog, you transport 1 or 2 to this unfinished task list, and you complete 1 or 2. And if you had 50 unfinished tasks, within a few days, you would see that go down, but within about a month, you would have taken care of 60 unfinished tasks. So I think it's important to create the list of what you want, make the entire list, put it in one single capture tool, prioritize those things, and then do them as you can. The other thing that I would encourage you as you capture all these things on your unfinished task list is set a Saturday aside and take care of what we call low-hanging fruit. The low-hanging fruit may be that you need to send a thank you card, or that you need to throw away that chicken that's been in your refrigerator that's bothering you. Low-hanging fruit can typically be done within 5 minutes. There are going to be a lot of things on your unfinished task list that you can accomplish. So set a Saturday, mark down the things that'll take very little time, get all of them done, and you may be able to accomplish 20 or 30 things. So, other questions? I know there are questions. Okay, we've got a raised hand. I'm going to see if I can remember who it was. All right, can you raise your hand one more time? Oh, we got it right here. 2 participants raised their hand. I'm still looking to see who's raised their hand. All right, it started with an M. Oh, here they are. Promote to panel. Oh, we've got a lot of questions. All right, raise your hand one more time. Raise your hand one more time. Star M asks, will there be a replay for this? I'm driving and trying to partially listen with headphones while partially having a conversation with a child driving to her appointments. Yes, there's going to be a replay. In fact, I may reshoot the entire thing. David also asked, interruptions are my biggest problem. All interruptions seem to be important and urgent. What happens when that happens? My daily task get moved to tomorrow. As of right now, I have things to do until $21.99. And my question is, how does that make you feel? It's a terrible thing. So maybe you should call, and I'll give you free 30 minutes to see if I can help. All right, I am trying to figure out how to raise your hands. If you can, put in the chat box who would like to raise their hand and talk to me. I'm having trouble discerning. If you're one of those people that would like to talk, just put it in the chat box. Okay, I'm going to pull up Miss McVeigh here because I do know how to do that. And Miss McVeigh, come down here. Now you're going to be live with everyone on here, but these are not in alphabetical order. Hi, Jill, I just saw you there. There she is. Oh, I'm learning how. Okay, I am promoting you to a panelist. You should be able to talk to us now. As soon as you're promoted to a panelist, you will arrive live on screen. So, are you ready to ask your question? Make sure you have unmuted yourself. You should have an ability to unmute yourself. Right down here in the bottom left. Are you able to unmute yourself? No luck, huh? All right, well, I will be recording this. All right, let's just put the questions in the chat and I will answer them the best I can. I'm not sure why people are not able to come in live. All right, so if you'll put your questions in chat. Okay, Wanda Turner asks, I have recently retired from full-time work. I still have full-time volunteering, but want to start a business project that I have been waiting for years to do. I believe this will help me prioritize the old with the new. Well, I am excited for you. As many of you know, I have moved on from a career for 30 years into now working on this full-time. I think first you have to give yourself some time to transition. And then as a full-time volunteer, you've gained a lot of skills. But if you want to start a business project, then let me share my screen again. I love these questions. All right, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to go back to the 7-Minute Life. Again, all this is free. I'm going to scroll back down until we see goals. If you want to start a business, that is an enormous goal for you to accomplish. What you would do is you would come down on the left to where it says Goals Package. You would download that, and you will find this goal package that says, if you want to start a new business, what are the goals that you want to accomplish? Do you want to get the legal documents done? What is it that you want to accomplish? So you write down those goals, and after you write down the goal, then write down the projects of what it's going to take for you to accomplish those. So if you want to start a new business, first thing you'd have to do is either incorporate or get taxes. So you'd put down, I need to get my tax ID, I need to create my business plan, I need to do this. But let's look at this one. I need to create my business plan. You are not going to be able to complete your business plan within 2 seconds to 20 minutes. So if you have this on your project list, then the next page is that you take each project and you write down what's going to happen for you to be able to accomplish that business plan. These are just brainstorming notes. So what you've done so far is you've had a goal of starting your business. You've realized that in order to start, you have to have a business plan. You know you can't just have a business plan. So on this, you write individual project details, business plan, and then you begin to brainstorm of what you need to do. And then you take it one step farther and you write down the specific actions, the 5 things you can do starting right now. So again, one more time, there's a progress. If you have a new business or filing your taxes or writing an article or cleaning up a junk room, the goal is to create a business. The project is to create a business plan. You can't do that in one sitting. To create your business plan, you have to brainstorm of all the things that you need to do. Find a CPA, create a corporate structure, but you can't do those either. So you have to break that down into 5 tiny things that you could do. For example, 1, you could call and get a recommendation of someone that has a great CPA. That's a micro action. Second micro action is then you could then talk to them. So those are the type of things that I think can help you build an absolutely great business. Okay, so who else has a question? Yes, you do need that to finish the goals. Not seeing a mute or unmute. All right, so I'll see if I can fix that in just a moment. How do we get in touch with you for a 30-minute consultation? I promise I'm not here to, but I do think it's important. There are people that need help. So I didn't stage that question. Thank you for asking. The office number is 870-275-7674, and I've just placed it into chat. 870-275-7674. I'm having trouble finding the questions. If you'll put your questions in chat, put your questions in chat. We've got 15 minutes. We've got 58 people on the line. We had 150 sign up. I know there are questions of things that people have problems with. Can you look at Tony's question? Okay, let's see if I can find Tony's question. Tony Scott. At work, who has the time to sit down and list all of the steps to a project? Before I can even start to do this, I have been interrupted several times and have 3 more projects. The idea works well for personal things. I don't think I can make this work for work. Great question, Tony. I think that what was the biggest turning point for me was not the poor time management, but was the outcome of that. When I realized that I was in a place that I felt trapped and stuck, and that what was happening at home and what was happening at my work were affecting everything, my health, my faith, my relationships, and that overwhelming stress of not being able to get things done. So I realized at that point that I had to make some changes. I totally agree with you that this can be overwhelming at first. Just like getting out on a golf course or playing a piano can seem overwhelming. But what I want people to do is just take 7 minutes to try to do 5 things. If you could take a couple of hours to do 5 things a day, I think that would make a really big difference. What is the charge for the 30 minutes? Well, if you're hanging in here with me for 30 minutes, I will give you 30 minutes of my time because this has been exciting. but kind of hard to do. So those of you, the 58 that are still on the line, my goodness, if you want 30 minutes, you can have it. But if you want 30 minutes, you're going to have homework first, because it's going to be awesome. And I am, okay, if you've raised your hand, put it in the chat, because I am having trouble. So Wanda, I know you're going to be one of those first. Ann Hampton, you're one of my favorites. All right. Star M, generous, thank you. Well, of course, now I'm adding more things to my 5 before 11. Oh, okay. Jeff, I know you have a question. Can you put it in the chat, please? All right, awesome. Okay, those of you that want 30 minutes, I need you to email me at Allyson. Here, I'll put it in here too. Allyson at the 7minutelife.com. You can also just send it to info@the7minutelife.com. I saw a question coming up from, I think, a Jeff. Jeff, do you have a question? If you can put it in chat. I'm seeing 9 questions in the Q&A. I'm unable to see those. If you've posted a question in the Q&A. Okay, Jeff, how do we use this system on our Mac, on our PC or iMac? Jeff, I also promise I did not put this in the, I didn't stage having him here, but as of yesterday, we have just launched the 7-Minute Planner app. As of yesterday, it is in the App Store, the 7-Minute Planner app. And so it does not work on a Mac. It works on your iPad and your iPhone. John, you downloaded it today. Well, you should get 30 minutes of free coaching. You know, I just am amazed. Do you have an estimate of when the app will be available for Android? Yes, I think it will be available in March or April. No Droid yet. What will the app do? I should be able to show you that, but March. All right, who else has questions? I still see 9 questions down in the, oh, Carolyn, did you also download the app? You're one of my favorite people. I already know her. We've talked several times. I really want this to be, I mean, we still have 57 people here. The 7-Minute Life is evolving. I don't want to pump out information that is useless or not helpful to you. I really want to have a conversation. I want those of you, the 57 that are still on here, to send me information of questions that we can help you. I think having these town hall meetings without me having to get up at that board would be awesome. This system that I'm on will hold 25 people live, so we don't have to go back and forth. If you have an interest in being one of the 25 people that would like to be on a live call with me, we're probably going to do that in a week to 2 weeks. Please send me an email. All right, so looking forward to the Android. I've been beta testing the app. The response to my questions have been great. Lorraine, thank you. How do you make yourself focus on the task at hand, Stephanie? I had to do that today. This article that I have to do, it's due tonight. I had written about half of it. So I hope you can see this. I'd written about half of it. I knew I had this webinar coming up at 3. I'd spent about 10 hours already researching this article. I wanted to not feel overwhelmed. I have an associate that's my team member that is an executive assistant. I took my phone into another part of our office. I handed her the phone. I closed my door and I said, I have an hour and 15 minutes to complete this. That's longer than my attention span. But I had deliberately said, I'm going to get this done. That may come as a surprise to you, but every book I've written, every article I write, I do it by hand. And so I had a phone call at 12:30. I started at 11:15. Knowing that I had to get rid of as many distractions as I can. I started at 11:15. I finished at 12:30. Why? Because I was intentional. I was deliberate. I already had my spoken wheel. I had all of the research right in front of me. I knew 1, 2, 3, 4 what I was going to write about. And this is an article about distraction. And I hope you can see that. It talks about the pain of distraction, what causes distraction, how to improve your attention span, and the tools that you're going to need. Now, I think that sounds like a pretty good article. So I was excited to read. Okay, I am going to go up again and see where we were. Looking forward to the app. I've been beta testing it. I've downloaded it. How do you make yourself focus on the task at hand? Painfully. This is a big deal with a hard stop deadline. Far too many things in our time management have no deadline, so we do everything poorly. And one of the things with time management, why 20 minutes is so important is, let's say that I had this article to write, and I started writing, my door was shut, my phone was in the other room. I was 15 minutes into the article, full force, head down, and all of a sudden someone knocked on my office door. What's going to happen is I'm going to completely lose this 15 minutes, and I'm actually going to go backwards on that project because I was frustrated. And that's why I think we have to break these things down. And I did take one break where I got up, but I got up here in the office, I stretched, and then I finished that. And part of that is grit. I mean, you just sometimes have to grit. All right, Teresa says, I beta test the app and still have recommendations. Should you email them? Please email them to info@the7minutelife. Jamad says, I'm having trouble about how to delegate things. Jamad, do you work on a team or all by yourself? If you can tell me that. He says, I end up giving more of the important things. I'm on a team of, we're a very small company. We have a team of about 9 people now. And what I've had them do, again, I'm going to come back to this, and this is all, again, on the website. Each quarter we sit down. We've just opened a new quarter. And this tool is where I would start. This is called the highest and best. It's on that tool sheet. You just scroll down until you see a page that looks like that. And when I'm wanting to delegate something or working with a team member, I want to know what they love to do. The best use of my time that I'm going to get out of people is when I delegate tasks to them that they love to do. And when I keep the tasks that I love to do, that's when I'm going to be the most productive. I also ask each of my team members, this is not me filling this out, this is each person. I want to know what their strengths are. And even when they step back and say, here's the things I love to do at the 7-Minute Life, and here's what I bring to the table with my strengths, all of a sudden the delegating becomes very easy because people start to ask for projects. So I hope that's a help to you. Okay, Paula, I was a test person for the 7-Minute Life. I have your book and the pre-printed planner. I'm very excited about your program, but trying to figure out how to make it work with my schedule where everything I do at work is urgent. That's where I am. If you could actually see my office, I was trying this new technology. There's going to be a lot that we will fix next time. I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off. Anytime that something's urgent, and literally my heart rate was up, you could tell when I got here I was a little discombobulated. I think everything that's urgent is costing you time because when it's swirling in your head about the distress that you have for having urgent things, it's going to be hard to do anything. Literally, your brain shuts down. That's how come the 7-Minute Life is so easy. I mean, so hard. If you would sit down at the night before, and you can download these, they're free, download 7 days at a time, and write at the top of your page, what is my goal for tomorrow? Not what's urgent tomorrow, not what has to happen tomorrow necessarily, but what is my goal for tomorrow? Typically, if you can do 1 or 2 things, literally, even if you have to get away, if I'm working on a project, I have to move out of my office because everything on my desk talks to me. Literally, I have to go to a different space where there's nothing there that I have to work on. So I hope that's helping. Jeff, I was one of the testers and it's great. Amazing job done. How do we sync with our computers? It only syncs with your iPad at this point. And so I would send a email to info@the7minutelife. And I'm willing to stay here for a few extra minutes and answer all your questions until I leave. This is all I have to do. I'm completely relaxed. I'm leaving at 5 o'clock to watch my son, who is a senior in high school, play basketball. Okay, Douglas, you say it seems like there is not much actually being completed in a real day. No wonder we're all buried. Thanks for this conversation today. By the way, Jonathan Fields in his podcast today compared serial to parallel approaches to projects. Interesting. Lorraine Gray says, I love how real you are. It is inspiring that when things haven't worked as you planned in this webinar, you just kept forging ahead and making it happen. It works. Lorraine, I can't wait to visit with you. You've got my phone number. I really, really, really want this to become a conversation. John says, how do you know if you are simply ineffective in your job or if you really have too much to do? Boy, I'd love to do something with 7 or 8 segments where we could sit down and just talk. Again, 25 people at a time. The ineffective part comes when you're having to do things you hate to do. And at 55, there's still things I hate to do at work. I mean, there just are. Last night I had to create 3 faxes and get them all copied in the right order, and my printer jammed, and I kept getting phone calls, and it took me 2 hours to send 3 20-page faxes out. Well, was I ineffective? Yes, but I think I was ineffective mainly because I was so mad that I couldn't make the printer work. So a lot of ineffectiveness comes when we're overwhelmed with too much to do and we don't know where to start. That's where I think we have to step back and really look at what we love to do at work. You know, the 7-minute life, I hope, as you get to know us better, is very different. And you can go online and look at these things. We start with what's most important to you. I think if you're going to get started in managing your time, you need to know why you're managing your time. What is important to you? Is it love? Is it friendships? Achievement? Is it the arts? We can only be effective when we're working on things that are the most important to us. And again, there are videos on YouTube. The second part of time management is discovering your purpose. Why in the world would I want to improve my time management to go home and do things I don't want to do? Why would I want to somehow be more productive by flying through from one meeting to the next, thinking I can do everything in the world, when really that stress is literally sucking the life out of me? What I want to do is help you improve your time management so that you're focusing on the things you love with the strengths that God has given you that are in alignment with your purpose. If you come away with nothing else than today, you can't do it all. You just can't. Will I go to bed tonight knowing that there are things hanging over my head? Yes. But I have fewer of those things because I only focus on the things I love. And if you finish that unfinished task list where it has everything on there, you will find out that probably half of it is stuff that you don't need to be doing. In fact, there's something called task blindness, T-A-S-K blindness, which means the Post-it note that's been sitting on your computer or your refrigerator for more than a year that you thought was important, you've now become blind to. So we need to take away those tasks that we're completely blind to. All right. Jamad says, I am talking about my kids. I have 4 teenagers in high school and college. Well, that is out of my league. I have no idea how you would do that. But I really appreciate the question. And Jamad, I'd like to talk to you about that. Why would I want to talk to you about that? Because people are all over the world have the same question. And maybe together talking about it, we can come up with solutions. And those of you that are still on the class, how fun would it be to have 25 of us on here brainstorming? I don't have all the answers. Douglas, you came in and said, the example you discussed about grit and losing 15 minutes and going backwards is what Jay Fields discussed today. Awesome. That's good. I like this guy. I would need to watch him. Angela Johnson Tisdale. I work from home and have a 4-year-old child and 78-year-old mother with dementia at home with me from 1 p.m. on a daily basis. So I seem to always start out good, but I am constantly dealing with distractions and the unknown as it relates to distractions. Any suggestions? A point of clarification, I also have 2 other school-age children as well. Angela, I'd like to talk to you personally about that. I don't have a solution for that. I hope I'm not stepping on any toes, but I'm a person of faith, and I think only God's grace is going to get you through that. Children are very important. They need their mother, and obviously your mother at 78 is really struggling, and that pulls on you, and you're probably torn between what can I do, and everything's important. I mean, you need to take care of your child. You need to take care of your mother. And so I'd like to maybe talk to you and work those things out and see if we can come up with suggestions. Great question, John. Yeah, I agree. Wanda, when I first started buying and using your 7-minute life, I put 5 minutes every hour for what I call junk happens. If I didn't use it an hour, I moved it to the next or borrowed from the next hour. It's worked for me. Wanda, woo, will you email me that? That's a great idea. 5 minutes in every hour. What a wonderful idea. Wanda, I love you more all the time. John, Eve, great answer. Jamal, thank you. I enjoyed it. Okay, Angela, I enjoyed it. Well, we've gone over about 4 minutes. If any of you want to talk to me, again, please feel free to call at 870-275-7674. That's our office number. I really appreciate you being on here. I really appreciate all of you hanging in there. And we still have 52 people on the call. This is a really important thing. Next time, I'd like to just open it up with everybody online and let's talk. It will be limited to 25 people. If you have an interest in being on that, please send me an email at Allyson@the7minutelife.com or info@the7minutelife.com. I can't wait to have 25 of you teaching me. It means a lot to me. I'm very glad that you were here. So with that, I will sign off. Ann Hampton and some of you, it's going to hurt my feelings if y'all don't call me before 5 o'clock. So great to see everyone. I hope all of you will have a great and blessed day, and we're going to learn how to do these things together. And by the way, go Warriors. I'm going to go to the game in about 55 minutes. Thanks so much.